lives one day at a time. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. They're here to get your day going fine. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio.
And here's your host, Miss Kim Robinson.
Do you have an upcoming event? Well, I encourage you to book Beyond the Fence family for an amazing experience. Beyond the Fence is a talented group of men and women who have toured the world to display their talents of song and ministry. Did I forget to mention multi-award winners? They're your one-stop shop for making your event the best in the city. Book Beyond the Fence today at beyondthefence.org. Click menu, then contact. Beyond the Fence, your audience will thank you.
Everything they do is in-house.
In-house music group.
Oh, yeah, we preaching this evening. Everybody is shining and glistening. We screaming while demons are whistling. Nobody is paying attention. We're preaching, nobody is listening. These judges ain't giving no bail. Building church houses in jail. Send you away for years, like a bread molded and stale. Preaching, this is how they react. Nourish the scum like rats. The crumb from the table feed cats. And that is a natural fact. Young people strapped with them gats. They'll block 13 over back. The fact the gone ain't coming back. So represent with the tax. You rather do wrong than right. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Drop in the dark, look for the light. He's the way, the truth, and the light. There's too much heat on the street. Not enough people in charge. My homie is covered in dirt. Now tell me what good is that word? There's too much heat on the streets. Not enough people in charge. My homie is covered in dirt. Now tell me what good is that shirt? There's too much heat on the streets. Not enough people in charge. My homie is covered in dirt. Now tell me what good is that word? There's too much heat on the streets. Not enough people in charge. My homie is covered in dirt. Now tell me what good is that shirt? Dreams of grands are living in anger. Some victims are innocent, pay the cost. Kill it, pray to be the boss. I'm praying for families who had a loss. Because of your ignorance, people are sad. Grieving bereaved, the moms and dads, sisters and brothers, uncles and nieces. Weapons destroyed, rip bodies to pieces. Forgiveness you won't, worse than we should. Chose to do bad, you could've did good. After the fact, you humble yourself. Before a minute where even is 12. Vengeance is mine, thus said the Lord. Struggle your tools, you rabbit your boys. It's all of your set, but now you regret your actions in life, they ended in death. There's too much heat on the street. Not enough people in charge. My homie is covered in dirt. Now tell me what good is that word? There's too much heat on the streets. Not enough people in charge. My homie is covered in dirt. Now tell me what good is that shirt? There's too much heat on the streets. Not enough people in charge. My homie is covered in dirt. Now tell me what good is that word? There's too much heat on the streets. Not enough people in charge. My homie is covered in dirt. Now tell me what good is that shirt?
Welcome, welcome, welcome to Beyond the Radio.
Welcome to Beyond the Radio. And you better be smiling.
Beyond the Fence is in the building.
Hey. Welcome. Yes. Welcome to another beautiful night right here on Beyond the Radio. It's your main man, David Benton, and I'm in the building, and I am smiling because we got a wonderful show tonight. Yes, we do. Shout out to the Elation family because you know they always in the building. So let's get straight to it. All right. Drum roll. Jerry, Truto, Allen, are you in the building?
I'm in the building. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
How y'all doing? Oh, yeah.
What's going on, good brother?
Oh, brother, I'm feeling great, man. Productive week.
learning this song. First time ever being asked to be somebody's best man at their wedding. So next Saturday, I will be the best man and singing a song. Yeah, so I'm feeling good. I've been practicing.
Oh, okay. You gonna sing a song? What song are you singing, brother? What song are you singing?
When We Get Married. Yes, I'll be singing that. It's an oldie, good. Yeah. So I kind of been trying to tune up, trying to get my Shay Samuels on, you know. You know. Well, let's get straight to it, man. That's beautiful, man. Ain't nothing like that, man. That's all right. And you get what you deserve, bro, for real, because you are a good friend. So that's I ain't shocked that you the best man. So let's get to it. He already said your name. Shay Samuels, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Are you in the building?
Shay Samuels is in the building.
All right. Hey.
Hello,
Shay,
Derek, Allen, and David Benton.
Tell me about your week, Shay.
My week has been eventful. It's been a very eventful week. But you know, this weekend I got a chance to spend some time with my mommy. She's in town. Shout out to mommy.
Shout out to mommy. Mommy's in the building. But Shay, let mommy know she has to be smiling.
Mommy says she's in the building and she's smiling.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Mommy is smiling. We got a wonderful show tonight. Y'all ready? Y'all ready to get crunk up in here?
Oh,
I'm ready.
Ready. All right. So here we go. We have a guest tonight. We have a special guest. And I'm going to just say like this. She's a lover, not a fighter. Like Michael Jackson said, she's a lover. He's a lover, not a fighter. The loving Leanne, are you in the building?
I'm in the building. What's up?
Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. I am grateful. So I'm just glad to be among greatness.
Well, we definitely are happy to have you here tonight. First of all, I just want to say it like this, the loving Leanne. And when it comes to this, the loving Leanne, I just want to start off like this. Before we even really introduce you all the way, like, where'd you get the name from, the loving Leanne?
Wow. Where did I get the name from? Everything is a download. I just don't even think I'm talented enough. Not to be super overly spooky spiritual, but the Father talks to me, and when I was trying to figure out what my personality name was going to be, I had a few things that I was working on, and Loving Leanne just came to me, and I don't give myself any credit, and so I think you were probably part of that, David. I think you were probably part of that process of coming up with the name, but ultimately God just laid it on my heart, and it worked out.
Yeah, that's right. And that's how God works. Well, Shay, I know that you have some questions for the lovely Leanne, because you two guys really will have me cracking up. So, Shay, what you have for us?
Well, I want to first say that I'm honored to have you on the show, Miss Loving Leanne. I've had the great and awesome opportunity to meet you some years ago when you first did, I think it was our third year women's conference, and you were a guest speaker and did an amazing, amazing, amazing job. So let me always say thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to call on you anytime I have an event. And I know I need an awesome headliner, somebody that's going to tear the house down. You are a few digits away, and anytime you're available, you show up for me. So iron sharpens iron, and I love you.
Yes, I love you too. So I want to know what inspired, because when I meet people like Leanne's a very bubbly, she's very bubbly. She has a very good spirit about wanting to just see people succeed, right? And so in the midst of all of her success, she's always bringing people on to do what they are called to do. Really, you guys know that our ministry is about walking out the purpose, but she really does embrace people of all backgrounds. That's another thing I love about you, that it's not just about the gospel. Like, if you have a talent, Leanne is going to utilize your gift. So I'm very happy about that. But tell me about the 8-year-old Leanne, the Leanne that actually was like, were you the girl who had like a mic in her hand interviewing people like your cousins in the basement, like preparing for who you are today?
You know what? The 8-year-old Leanne always got talked too much on her report card, and for conduct needed. I was that girl. I needed improvement. I always was going to a level of challenging, but when I think about that, of course, everything has its place. So while I've always been a person that wanted to stand up and figure it out, I wanted to know the best answer. Like, don't just give me anything. Give me a good answer that makes sense. So I was inquisitive, I guess. But at 8 years old, I wanted to be a detective. It's so funny, but I didn't realize I had to be a police first. I just wanted to be a detective. And
wow.
Yeah, so
that'll preach. That'll preach.
Yeah. yeah. So, but that was me. I mean, I've always been relatively gregarious. I've always had a love for people, and I draw energy off of other people. So that's always been me. Did I know that I was gonna? And I didn't really know I was gonna have a mic in my hand because I could not sing. I was probably one of the only people in my family that cannot sing, can't carry a tune across the street. Yes.
Wow.
And, I remember being in the children's choir, and they wouldn't let me have that solo. Jessica Hensley of Knoxville, Tennessee, took the solo because she could sing. Still a little salty. But they called me the praying little girl. That's what they ended up putting me in. They were like, let her pray. And so from there, I guess, they ushered me into prayer.
Everybody has a place, though.
Yes. I guess the Loving Leanne. So, Loving Leanne, are you saying that you sound like a seal or a walrus?
Oh. Wait a minute. You need to stand down. My mom did ask me once, was I toned down? Stand down.
I'm just saying, is it like that? You can bust a solo right quick if you want to. If you want to redeem yourself, you can bust a solo right here on Beyond the Radio.
You know, when you have a Shay Sam album or something, I do feel like I can sing. I can sing gospel because he receives me. My gifts are taken. Yes. So, but I mean, I'm not going to be on the next, the American Idol, or, I'm not going to battle Jennifer H. or, something like that. But,
I'm just saying, the Bible only tells us to make a joyful noise. That's it. You just have to make a joyful noise. You don't need to. You don't always have to sound purdy. You don't always have to hit the notes correctly. This is, we have a section, and David, you know this. We have a section in our concert for the shower singers. We have a whole segment dedicated. A set is dedicated to the shower singers. And how I learned the shower singer was from my mom. Like, my mom always sounded good to me when she was in the shower. So I thought that she could hold a note. So when she would come out of the shower, or she would just be singing around the house, I was confused as a little kid. Like, what? And, I didn't know anything about acoustics or anything at that time. So when I asked her, she said, yeah, I'm a shower singer. And she said, I just sound good in the shower.
The shower and the car. The car will definitely amplify your vocals.
Yeah. Listen, I'm a singer, and I have those moments like, how did I get through that song? But it's just the hype up in the car.
Well,
yeah, so
I
you
know
have a
Truto.
question for the loving Leanne?
I
Yeah, I know
do.
Truto had like 3 questions.
Man, you better believe it. How are you doing? First of all, it is lovely to meet you, lovely Leanne.
Oh, well, thank you, King. Thank you so much. It is all my pleasure.
Yes. Listen, I want to ask you, what has been your struggle as a black woman in the media? You know, and what advice would you tell black women who want to do what you do?
Wow. Well, let me answer the last part first. Any person that wants to do what I do, I encourage everybody. It's not even what I do. It's what you want to do. Everybody makes something look great and something looks easy. And I believe that's what's wrong with our society today. I may see you drive a car and be like, oh, my gosh, driving a car must be easy. I can do it. I go get in a car, unskilled, untrained, don't even care to obtain the training, and I just get behind the wheel. And then I find out, I needed to figure out how to maintain my lane. I needed to figure out how to shift my gears. I need to look at my peripheral. And there's a whole bunch that goes into something. Because somebody does something and they make it look easy, trust that underneath there's been some training. I did not just jump out here. I've gone to school for it. I knew in high school that I was going to be on this path. It didn't go the way I thought I was going to go. However, I don't just show up. I prepare. So I tell anybody that wants to do anything, I urge everybody to walk in their purpose and to go get what they're destined to do. But don't think it's simple. Don't think it's so easy that you can just mimic, because you'll find yourself hitting pitfalls and people will pick you out. There's a section for the trained and the untrained, and so just show yourself approved. Show yourself approved. So that's the second part of that question. And for the first part, my struggle not necessarily being a black woman, but just being in media. Being in Atlanta is a hub, and it can. Unfortunately, everything's so competitive. Instead of people wanting to cooperate and collaborate, everybody wants to compete on a level, which we're stronger together. Everybody has their tribe. There's something that attracts certain people. They're going to love what I say, love what I do, follow me. There's something that's going to be in Shay that she has that's going to attract an audience. And so our audiences may cross over, but they're two different audiences, and neither one's bad. Like, you don't have to just eat apples, and you don't have to just eat oranges. You can eat apples and oranges, and nobody's going to be mad at you. And so my encouragement to being a female in the media is find you someone you can model after. Don't be afraid to say, hey, Darlene McCoy of 102.5, nationally syndicated, I admire what you do. Can you teach me? Can you help me? Can I follow you? Can I carry your book? I mean, humble yourself, be a servant, be ready to serve, to learn what it is that you need to learn, and stop being so competitive. You see somebody doing something that looks like what you do, and you automatically put up a defensive mechanism. So I guess that's the challenge in media.
Amen. I agree fully. That's sure enough the truth. Well, I got another one real fast. I'm gonna slip it in. It's a real quick one. What made you choose radio?
What made me choose radio? I didn't land on planet. No, I'm just. No, what made me choose radio? So I knew, like I said, in high school, I knew I was going on this journalism path. I was editor of my newspaper at school. I knew I was on this path, and some, as you grow older and you make decisions, you turn and so I knew I wanted to do something in media broadcasting. What attracted me to radio is I love vocabulary. I love the English language and grammar and all that. So I've been trained as far as the voice and different things like that. And people would always be like, you have the voice, you should be on radio. And I was already on that journey, so it wasn't hard to decide. Now, I try to stay on faith stations because that's my branding. Mm-hmm. But radio was in me, but I stay in a lane that makes sure that everything I promote promotes who I am as far as a person and the DNA inside me.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of intimidate me because I'm a little country, so I might say some words like ain't and isn't and chunking. So you kind of bear with me. I'm country as a roll of corn and a cracker. I'm sorry, y'all. But I might need some help.
Look, it's okay because it'll take David Benton to try to pull me out and call me out and be like, she's still from Knoxville and she's still country ghetto. And if he gets me upset or he gets me hyped, I'll start cutting up my words and you'll be like, what? But it always takes David to make me that mad.
One thing about the country language, she can interpret it well. Yeah, she can interpret the country slang. She got it down pat. So I want to ask you myself, lovely Leanne, because we are from the same city of Knoxville, Tennessee. I grew up with you, but one thing I did not know is that you had started doing radio, and I seen you go from one radio station, you grew and developed, and you went to another radio station. So it's like when you took radio, what was your first vision for it? When you first said, because I remember mine. So with you, when you first said, you know what, I'm going to do this. What was your first goal, like your vision? What did you want people to get out of it?
So always, and even when I entered this realm, yes, I definitely want to be an influencer, but I want to promote positive media. I get to see the negative media. I get to see the Wendy Williams, and I get to see the people that elevate off of tearing somebody else down. I wanted to be totally the opposite. I don't want to mess with your marriage. I don't want to mess with your children. I don't want to talk about all the hard things that life has thrown at a person, and that's never to be my platform. So I knew I just wanted to be different. I wanted to go on, and when somebody left, they felt like, man, nobody knew my name. I was talking to the loving Leanne, and she affirmed me. She elevated me. She told me that my book would be the number one seller when all I can sell it is in my little town of Alabama nowhere. And so that was my thing. How do I promote those people that may never get promoted, may never be heard? That's why I have a passion for indie artists and those people that aren't signed under these big labels and small authors and just people doing great community work. So my vision was to highlight those people and bring just positivity. When you get off when I get off the air, somebody felt like their day was just a little lighter, that they had hope. Think about Indy Iree, who's one of my biggest artists. And when I finished listening to her, I felt like I've been ministered to. I wanted to do that for somebody through the airwaves.
That's awesome. Right. Shay, it's back to you, Shay.
Well, I thought that was Indy Iree is really one of my favorite artists too. I know that I'm an artist, and David would be like, "You should be your favorite," but I listen to Indy Iree every day, and I agree with you that she has a way to just minister to the soul. Just so loving, just so loving. Yeah. I know that you have had an opportunity to really build outside of your radio, build network opportunities for people to connect them with businesses. Is that still part of what you do? And I don't know if it's just PR, but is it still part of what you do to help businesses kind of connect with people, with artists, or to bring business to those businesses?
Oh, absolutely. And everything I do, whether it's under my business, under the media personality, I just want to be a vessel. So as you stated earlier, I might find somebody and maybe I can't help them, but I'm like, but I know this person that does this and they do it well. So let me connect you with this person. Maybe they're doing something that isn't even kind of lining up with my brand. And I might be like, I'm not the person to service that, but I know someone. So everything I do I want to marry it and it bleed together. So, yes, I have a passion for small businesses. I have a passion for thriving companies that love serving people. And I have a passion for Black businesses. I'm not anti-anything, but I am very pro-us. I'm very pro-Black. I'm pro-community. And so when I see there's an opportunity, and sometimes you got to be a little creative. So maybe I have an artist that said, I have a single coming out, which I do, and I'll definitely share that with you at some point in the broadcast. And so I was like, well, I have brick and mortar. Sometimes space is the hardest place to find. So if I have a venue that I can just say, well, I have some autonomy to do something, why don't you have your single release here? It's a restaurant, but you just need a place and people. You got to bring your own talent. So I try to marry those and make sure that everybody gets what they need from it. If a business needs exposure, well, you're going to get exposure because you have this artist in your house. If an artist needs exposure, well, we're going to bring you here, and they already have a built-in clientele. So I do try to utilize my creativity and some of my relationships, professional and personal relationships, to uplift and elevate those people that need it. So it's definitely the fabric of who I am.
And I could tell you, too, before we go into your next question, I could actually tell you that when I first did an event for you, I can tell you that you really do take pride in the people you service. So I say this for people who might want to be connected to you regarding their business, you know, connecting people to connecting people. But I know when I first had you at the conference, and then you contacted me about being a part of this grand opening for one of the pizzerias, or I think it was a pizzeria, but the woman who was married to the owner, you took so much pride in wanting to make her happy, making her a part of what was going on that night, because there was a lot of guys. There were a lot of guys there that night, and they were all collectively a part of building this, and this was the Smyrna, Georgia location, but building this this entity or facility, this restaurant. I think it was a restaurant. But either way, your main focus for me was to sing to her. And I can never forget her breaking down when the song was done. It was presented to her, but it was like she needed that. After all that they had been through, putting this thing together, it's done, they're there, and it was like a weight was lifted off of her shoulders. And I watched how you admired that of her. And I watched, if you didn't get anything else out of that night, like that was all you needed to see. And so blessings to you for that, because you may be a connector of connectors and you might help build different relationships, but you really do care about the people you work with. And that's not, that's not found in the area, put it this way, in the generation we're in right now. It's very hard to come by.
Well, thank you. But let me tell you, the delivery could not have been better. So I knew that I had called the right person. And I'm glad God placed a yes on your heart, because I know a lot of people, when you're in the industry, a lot of people pull on you, especially when maybe you're trying to get started. People are like, well, you can get the exposure. And a lot of people aren't gifting you. A lot of people aren't sowing into your ministry. They're just asking, what can you do for them? But I'm glad that a yes was placed on your heart for me. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, well, before we go to our music break, Loving again, look, we were going to give you another opportunity to be able to tell people to how they can connect with you. But if you could just tell our listeners where they can connect with you and find you.
Absolutely. Loving Leanne on YouTube. Instagram, I think it's The Loving Leanne on Instagram, but just throw in The Loving Leanne, and my face will pop up. I'm not Leanne Rhymes. Just keep scrolling, but I am in there. And, from Instagram to IG to Facebook, and if you're connected to Beyond the Fence, you can find Loving Leanne, because I definitely support.
Bling. There you have it. That's how we do it over here at BDF. We in the building. Beyond the Fence. Beyond the Radio, you know how to get Trump. So let's go to a music break. And where the music at? Where the music at? Where the music at? Where the music? Y'all know what time it is. You know I'm doing my dance.
Has anyone ever told you that you were a queen? Have they told you how valuable you really are?
He gave you the moon, the stars, the sun. He gave you everything. He gave you the pearls, the fur, the diamond necklace, and the ring. He told you that you were his queen and that you two would never part.
How many other women has he said that to?
And then he broke your heart.
Girl, I can't let you stay in this place. But that was so long ago. Can I tell you you're blessed?
You have to remind yourself.
Come on, say it with me. I'm more than a conqueror.
You're more than a conqueror. Girl, you are so beautiful. 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 Girl, you are so beautiful. 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 Girl, you are so you have to remind yourself.
Come on, say it with me. I'm more than a conqueror.
You're more than a conqueror. Girl, you are so beautiful. 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 Girl, you are so beautiful. 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 Girl, you are so beautiful. 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 Girl, you are so beautiful. 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 Girl, you don't let your light shine.
Can I tell you that you are vibrant, creative, you're blessed, extraordinary in all your ways.
Much more.
Let your light shine.
Your words. Girl, you're so beautiful. 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 Girl, you are so beautiful. Beautiful.
He gave you everything. He gave you the pearls, the fur, the diamond necklace, and the ring.
It's your boy David Benton. Some people, they be like, yo, I just have a wish for my birthday. Or you know, they would say I had 3 wishes. I wish for so much more for you. I wish for so much more. What I wish for is that we live more. In the inner city, living ain't so piss poor. Realize we hypnotized by the discord. We blow money fast. What you think we rent for? Yeah, did it big. My kids wish I could've did more. Wish women would be women if men would be men. Or there was no child abuse or domestic violence. In the streets really moved in the act of silence. Wish the Catholic priest wasn't pedifying. In the government, the futures would tell the truth instead of lying. I'm born a lion. My daddy named me David Lyons. Wish we could do more laughing instead of crying. Wish we wasn't afraid of giants. Wish we could all be inspired by David and Goliath. Wish society wouldn't pacify us. Make us ride, turn back around and buy it. Intensify it.
I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I keep my hands raised high when there ain't nothing left. Try to stay focused on the Lord above. With all the things going on in this world, that's where my help comes from. I wish that the world wasn't corrupt. I wish that we're united, spread love. I know that
her credit straight. Wish that single mother didn't have to wait for Section 8. I wish we all would investigate why the world is crooked and we can't set it straight. Yeah. God is not the author of confusion, so ask yourself, why there's so much confusion? With some husbands wasn't so abusive, wifey putting makeup on to cover up all her bruises. All we do is make excuses about the chains, the pains, and all the nooses. I wish religion wasn't so polluted. This is all facts, you can't dispute it, barely have a right to do it. So much can't be proven. I wish we really choosing to teach our students, pursuing this illusion, turning us all to ruin. I wish our core system really would start improving.
Through the valley of the shadow of death, I keep my hands raised high when there ain't nothing left. Try to stay focused on the Lord above. With all the things going on in this world, that's where my help comes from. I wish that the world wasn't corrupt. I wish that we're united, spread love. I know that Jesus is enough. Got my mind on my mission, G.O.D. Yo, that's what's up.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to Beyond the Radio.
Welcome to Beyond the Radio, and you better be smiling.
Beyond the fences in the building.
Yes, yes, yes. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. If you were just tuning in after the music break, that was the first song was Beautiful by Shay Samuels. You can hear a little bit of David Benton in the background. And the second song was Wish by David Benton featuring the Beyond the Fence artist G. Will. Shout out to G. Will and all the other amazing artists on the Beyond the Fence label. But now it is time for the sponsors. Shout out to Tess Hair Braiding in Wilmington, Delaware at 5910 Kirkwood Highway. That's Wilmington, Delaware 19808. Yes, I spoke with her last week and the shop is back open. There's so many different businesses that have been affected by the pandemic. Tess Hair Braiding in Wilmington, Delaware is now open. So please, ladies, go get your hair did. That's 5910 Kirkwood Highway, Wilmington, Delaware, 19801. And don't forget to tell her that the Beyond the Fence family sent you. We cannot forget our next sponsor, Soul Sisters Natural. That's SISTAHS, Soul Sisters Natural. You can connect with them on Facebook at Soul Sisters Natural. If you are looking for incense, body oils, hair serum, I have tried their products for the last month and a half, and I am enjoying myself. My facial scrub, I love, love, love it. So connect with them on Facebook at Soul Sisters Naturals, and don't forget to tell them that Beyond the Fence sent you. If you are looking for graphic designs, you got to hit our boy Truto up. Jerry Truto Allen will get you right with your graphic designs, logos, and more. Connect with him on Beyond the Fence at beyondthefence.org. Last but not least, we cannot forget our sister Paula G, Voice Lady Wisdom After Midnight. If you are looking for a voiceover, please connect with Paula G at paulagvoice.com. You guys will not be disappointed. You hear her commercials playing on all of our radio stations and programs. Paula G, we love you, and don't forget to tell her Beyond the Fence sent you. David Benton, back to you.
Thank you so much for that, Shay. That was beautifully said. Now, shout out again to the Elation family. It's your main man, David Benton. I'm back in the building right here Beyond the Radio. We want to tell you thank you so much. We have our lovely guest, the lovely Leanne, the lovely Leanne. She is in the building with us. And, like we always say, we love to have fun, but there's a time where we love to teach. We love to have a good time in here, but at the same time, we want you to be a better version of yourself. And she's going to stay on tonight with us, but tonight's topic. The month of August, we have been talking about family. Everything has been about family. And we have many different topics based on that. But tonight, we want to talk about when you lose family. When you lose family and it pours down on you, hurt you. Going through this pandemic, going this the corona, and then you see the deaths of young men, or young black men by cops. It's bad, and there's a lot of deaths going on. And not only that, you got just regular life that just happens that people pass away. And the thing is, just like, how do we deal with those things? And that's what I want to encourage everybody tonight to do. I want to start out with Jesus, right? When Jesus was talking to, let me see, I'm gonna go to this. It's in Luke 9:60. Luke 9:60, and Jesus said, "Let the dead bury their own dead." And that was because, people wanted to follow him. And, it was a young man that said, well, let me bury my parents and I'll follow you. He said, well, let the dead bury his own dead. Now, a lot of people would feel like that means that, okay, well, just forget about it. Follow God, forget about it. And it's like we all mourn the loss of our loved ones. We mourn the loss of our loved ones. But what Jesus is trying to do in that passage, what he is saying is it's okay to mourn. Just like the Bible says, be ye angry, but sin not. Anger is a part of your emotion. So God is not saying you don't have a right to be emotional. You don't have a right to be in pain, to be hurt. But what Jesus is trying to get us to understand in that passage is that when you focus on God and you know that you still have a purpose right here on this earth, you are still alive. That what we look at death is the end, God look at death as the beginning. And that's why Jesus was the sacrifice, because it was about giving us life. So what Jesus is trying to say is, it's not that you forget about your loved ones, but how do you move forward with them still in your heart, and allow them in their vision, in their love for you, to live through you. Now, hey, can you be a better version of yourself through the ones that you miss? And Loving Leanne, I want to start with you.
Yes, sir.
I know you have lost a love, but you still push forward. How do you encourage when someone comes to you that lost a loved one, and then all the stuff that's going on in our world, how people are just passing, coronavirus, where deadly shootings, the inner city shootings and killings, and just all the evil that's going on. How do you deal with it, and how do you encourage another to deal with it? While you trying to go through it yourself, how do you balance it out?
Well, let me be just so clear and so honest. Experiencing my first immediate family death last year, 2019, I learned that I wasn't ready. And there was no amount of encouragement that I could receive before I was ready. Like, honestly, I'm a slower speaking person to people that are mourning and grieving, because when your heart is broken, there are no words. There is no amount of philosophy that can get you through. So what I tell people when they're in the midst, I'm like, you don't have to be okay. That's really what I tell people. Be where you are. If that means at that moment you are totally broken, shattered, and cannot figure out how to compose yourself, be there. Be there until you can get to the other side. It's just, grief is crazy. Grief is an emotion that doesn't have a time limit on it. Some people get up, they dust themselves off. They can say, in order to live, you must die, and all that great rhetoric. And then there's me. There's somebody like me that was like, I wasn't ready. I haven't reached that level of maturity, that level of understanding. All I know is my heart is broken. And so the best thing I can do is empathize with somebody going through and saying, be where you are right now. Don't let somebody force you into being strong. Don't let somebody guilt you into sucking up your tears. If you need to cry, cry. If you need to be angry for that moment. Do what you need to do to be okay. And so that's, I don't know if that's encouragement. That's just what I have to give because that's what I needed to receive.
Amen.
So
Amen.
that's just, be. Just be.
Yeah.
Just be. That's the best encouragement I can give somebody that's going through grief. Just be. And in this climate in society where we are right now, where we get to watch murder porn at the flip of our fingers, and people are getting desensitized to seeing our kings been slain on the street, and that people are forcing us to cope with losing loved ones senselessly. And once again, just be. I do encourage people to be responsible because on every level there's a consequence. So if you're emotional, it's okay to be emotional. You just need to manage your emotions. So I can be emotional and I can be mad, and I don't have to be happy every moment of every single second of the day, but neither can I go and break out somebody's car window and think there's no consequence on the other end.
That's right.
So
All right. I got it.
Yeah, just be.
Yes. Amen. Truto, you want to come behind that, my brother?
Man, I do. You know my story. I always, I'm like you, Leanne. I feel I always try to give them something. With me, I losing my kids. My firstborn died of anesthesia, and my only son died of SIDS. And them was really, really tough for me. And then losing dad, now mom's gone. My little brother passed away, liver failure. For me, I the only thing that I try to tell them is what I did. I start to understand because every time I lost something, God gave me another responsibility, and that's what kept me busy. And they say, your mind in grief, sometimes if you lay too long, it's hard to escape sorrow's valley. And I always had to remember, okay, when I lost my firstborn, God gave me a daughter after that. Okay, my daughter needs me. Okay, after my daughter, I lost my only son. I had another daughter. And I always tell people that my life, I always feel like I'm a sacrificial lamb. And they laugh at me. They were like, well, what you mean by that? Truto, I said, because as me knowing that sometimes I really didn't have time to mourn because it was time for me to get up. I had to get up. I had to pick up because my kids needed me. When my brother died, my mom needed me. And I come to a realization that it wasn't about me falling apart, but it was about me keeping it together, keeping the family structure together. So I stayed close. And I just tell people that stay close to the people. Stay close to your family. Stay close to your support group. And I agree with you. Take your time. There is no time limit on it. People mourn in different ways, but please don't do nothing negative. That's not going to make it any better. But you got to take your time, work it out, and I love it. Just be. I love that. I had to piggyback off that. I hope you don't mind. But I really love that.
You just not at all.
Yes, you just have to be. But, but you got to lean. You got to lean sometimes. Stay close. And that's what I did. I stayed close. I tell you what I did. I just got busy. I knew my family needed this. They needed me to be strong. And I just, even to the day, certain times, I'll cry. I'll just bust out in tears and cry. After that, wipe my face. Okay, well, the kids need to get to school, and I just
that's right.
Hey, I cry, but I got to go in here and cook dinner now because the wife don't work all day. I might cry while I'm making spaghetti, and that's what I do. And I tell people, don't be ashamed. If it hits you, cry. Let it out. Let it out and let it go, because it over time in your process, you'll be able to deal with it better over time. And that's what I tell people. I truly do.
Yeah, I mean, time definitely do heal. Time definitely do heal. And Shay, do you want to come behind Truto?
Sure, yeah. You guys kind of segued right into what I was going to say. Ecclesiastes 3, it does remind us that there's a time for everything. And, when I was recording that song, I had to really focus on that scripture a lot because I had to relearn it. And in relearning it, it reminded me that there is a time on this earth for everything under the sun. And I grew from it. I grew from just understanding that there was a season for everything. I actually lost my grandmother in 2008, and it was very unexpected. She was very young, and that was the first death that we had experienced in our family, and that was the pillar of our family. She was the one that held it all together. And we had visited so many other family members who had death in their families, like extended family, but we never expected it to happen to us, And there were family members. I have family members to date who still are not capable of even getting out of bed, who are beginning to die themselves from the inside out, missing out on so much of life because they haven't really coped with the fact that my grandmother passed away in 2008, and we're saying it's 2020, So we're watching family members kind of die from the inside out. And there's an anger that happens when they see that we have decided to live. Some of us are still living out her legacy. Some of us are living enough to start looking like her. We still hear the remnants of all the people who've encountered her and still love her. But here we have family members who are angry with us because we have decided to do what she wanted us to do, and that was to live. So, Leanne, I agree with you. And Truto, I agree with you as well, because although anger in certain deaths can mean, like you said, smashing out windows, looting, and doing things like that, there's others who are angry with family members who have decided to just go ahead and live.
Yeah, that is true. And the thing, what everybody have to realize is that we process it differently. Everyone processes it differently because we're all different. We all have a different. We all learn differently. We all have different gifts, and some people's gifts are different than others. So. The thing is, what we all have to realize when it comes to death, the reality is it's coming, right? Mm-hmm. That's something we all have to accept. Okay, it's coming. And we put so much energy on the dead. And you know what? My sister passed away in 2010. I was incarcerated. But the last time I actually seen my sister is when she came visit me in federal prison in Benton, North Carolina back in 2005. That was the last time I talked to my sister, and they was late. So my visit only lasted like 30 minutes, and we get an 8-hour visit, and I was so hurt by that. But I did not know that was going to be my last time. The last time I even talked to her was in 2009, and she passed away January 2010. That was devastating. I will cry to this day. But the thing is, I had to keep focusing on what I have right here with the living. And the thing is, us as a people, we put so much emphasis on the dead, but we mistreat the living. So now it's like, okay, because now they're gone, it's like, okay, we're hurt. We understand. But now the people that's right here alive, we have an opportunity to make that what we feel the opportunities we didn't have with the ones who passed on. Now, this is our opportunity to make segues to say, you know what? Life can be beautiful for us all. Now create a better space for yourself, a better atmosphere, put people around you with positive energy. Show more love rather than anger. See, now, because we know that the loved ones that we currently have are one day going to pass. And guess what? We have an opportunity to love on them, create memories with them. And here's the thing. We may go before them. So let's don't take none of this for granted. And that is really why I want to talk about that tonight, because I don't want to take us who are living for granted, because we put so much emphasis on the dead. And you're supposed to mourn. That's why we're blessed to have it. When something funny, we laugh. Something sad, we cry. When something upsets us, we do get angry. Those are emotions that we have. We're humans and we have a right to do. But understand, we are living. And what Jesus is trying to say through that passage is, let the dead bury the dead, because guess what? When you become mentally dead with them, you will die with them, and you will not be able to resurrect into that new being so you can see the living. You'll never be able to live if you be the walking dead. God wants to be alive. You're supposed to mourn, but don't die with him. And that's to all my kings and queens, to all the men and women of God. God, the Bible said that God is the God of the living, not the God of the dead. And when you really trust and you know that God is in control, you know that the person who's dead is definitely just asleep. With God, there's no sting with death. So that person just asleep. But that person going to always live eternity. Let me tell you why. Because he has you. And that's what you going to, and then the next person who mourn you going to have both of y'all spirits. Then the next person who mourn both of y'all going to have everybody else's. And that's just how it goes in this life. So we can live forever in memory. So now, what type of legacy are you going to leave the world? We got to focus on the living, show love. Before we close out, Truto, do you have anything else to say, my brother, before we close out?
Well, I like to say, y'all, let's not let our grief turn into anger and more death. Let's live life, gravitate to the loved ones left. Let's reminisce on the positive legacy and memories that your lost loved ones left you. That's what I want to say. Truto loves you.
All right, Shay Samuels, would you have anything to say before we close out?
Yes, just focus on Ecclesiastes 3. There is a time for everything. There is a time to be born. There's a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build. Focus on Ecclesiastes 3 this week, and we love you guys.
Amen.
Yes. And lovingly, Ann, will you please tell the people once again, where can they find you? Give us your information so we can connect with you.
Thank you for having me. I love each and every one of you, and I encourage everybody just to keep loving. You can follow Loving Leanne on IG at The Loving Leanne. I'm also, please subscribe and follow on YouTube, Loving Leanne, and Leanne Foster on Facebook, LinkedIn, and just reach out to Beyond Defense and the family, and you'll be able to find Loving Leanne. And I love each and every one of you. Thank you.
We love you, Leanne.
Love you, Leanne. And shout out to the Elation family. Beyond Offense is in the building. Shout out to everyone who stay tuned all the time, every Sunday, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. You know what it is. Beyond the Radio. We love you. We love you. We love you.
Better be smiling.
Smiling.
Better be smiling.
Yeah, you better be smiling. Where the music at? Where the music at? Cause I'm smiling. Where the music at? I'm smiling. Yeah. Be on the fence. You know?
Truto, what's up, DB? I think we're gonna make them swag it out to this one. Yeah. They gonna dance to this one. I can see that. Yeah. Give me some love, give me respect, give me my God, give me some space, give me your blessing. Dance like you holy, dance like you holy. Give me some love, give me respect, give me my God, give me some space, give me your blessing. Dance like you holy, dance like you holy. You say you're real with it, so real with it. Then you make your big gun chillin' it. Cause the dick is you don't know who you dealing with. Show me some respect, cause I ain't cleaning with the silliness. Surrounded by the fake, you don't not really get. Never compromise for some dividends. I did it before, but I never will again. Asking God for the forgiveness for my sins. I'm a child of the king, yes, I'm a child of the king. The devil can shatter my screen. Good ground is where plant my seeds, yeah. I got plenty muscle, grinding in the hustle. Been in the struggle, been in the dungeon, but only a chief for the lunches. Homie, the road with the punches. All people perish for the lack of knowledge. Why you think we attract the violence? College, it ain't for everybody. Some intelligence, stack your wallet. I've been real, told you I'm cold like a windshield. Roll like a big wheel, spinning like windmills, and we will. Give me some love, give me respect, give me my God, give me some space, and give me your blessing. Dance like you holy, dance like you holy. Give me some love, give me respect, give me my God, give me some space, give me your blessing. Dance like you holy, dance like you holy.
Everything they do is in the face you close and I can see the pose. I told you. They act so holy, act like they don't know me. Mess up my energy, offensive, religiously, unevenly yoked. They don't mix with my chemistry. No profit out of the pocket, speaking in riddles all off topic. Planning starships and rockets, spinning the word bicycle sprocket. What is your option, heaven or hell? So what I dwell will I prevail? It's designed to get it close, I am a saved by the bell. Purposely ordained to carry the day. Baptized in the joy and pain, not a slave, turning the pain. Toss a car, breaking the tape. Chopping it out like I get to it, ain't easy being Truto. Oh, let go, fill the room, now I'm packing all the things. Till I can see, I think it's all needed. Like the opinion, give me a minute. Everything good come from God. Throw an order off to me, you bop my head like the baby. Ain't no ifs, ands, or maybe. Keep on walking in the light, while the rest be so safe. They can love me, hate me, the blood is thicker than gravy. Two on the word, better take that. Shocking amazing grace, covers the room, ready, set. Boom, he ain't dead, you heard what I said, the living bread, go check the tune. The bridegroom's returning soon, dang.
Give me some love, give me respect, give me my God, give me some space, and give me your blessing. Dance like you holy, dance like you holy. Give me some love, give me respect, give me my God, give me some space, give me your blessing. Dance like you holy, dance like you holy.